Science fiction involved Mars. Literally hundreds. It's over 100 by now. So, there's a pop quiz. See how many of these you can name. I don't know if the panel can see the screen or not, but
I think what space does provide, the thing that makes space really important, the reason why you're here is not because you're interested in some other way of getting kilowatts. The reason why you're here is that you want a free future for humanity. And that's what space is actually all about. Otherwise, none of us in this room would be interested in the subject. And so therefore, that's what it is. And ultimately, look, what are the stakes? What are the stakes? There's two visions for the human future right now, that, and for a number of years, that have been in currency. The closed future, the open future. The Soylent Green future or the Star Trek future. Okay? These are the two visions that are out there, what the human future might be. The closed future, the future where human beings are confined to one world, a world of limited resources, where human prospects become ever more severely constrained in order to somehow try to manage its activity within a closing ring of possibilities, and the need for governmental activities in order to manage people so that they don't overrun things and constrain human aspirations and possibilities. And within this vision, by the way, I should say, within the context, if you accept this vision of a closed future, then fundamentally every other person on the earth is your enemy, because you're all competing for the shrinking, limited pie, okay? And every nation is the enemy of every other nation. And every new baby born into the world is a threat, is a minus, okay? And it is to your detriment that the sons and daughters of Chinese peasants are getting college educations and becoming scientists and engineers, because they're going to buy cars and stuff and use up the scarce amount of oil in the world and all of this, okay? So it's a world of hate as well as a world of tyranny. It's a world of war. Okay. On the other hand, if you take the other vision of the human future, okay, that there is an infinite set of resources that are available to us, defined only by our creativity, okay, then it is to your benefit that the sons and daughters of Chinese peasants become scientists and engineers, so they can add their inventive genius to the advance of humanity. You know, right now, half of all patents in the world are granted to Americans. Now, that's something that as American citizens we can be proud of, but really it'd be good if the other 95% of the human race was contributing equally to technological progress. What a world that could be, okay? But what does that mean? That means rising living standards across the world. That means people in Africa having a similar standard of living to people here, for them to have those kinds of educational opportunities, that they can produce that many scientists and what have you. But that could only be in a world of unlimited resources. Only in a world of unlimited resources can all men be brothers. Okay? So this is what the ultimate stakes are. And this, by the way, is why this issue of terraforming Mars and the rest of it is so important, even though it's going to happen in the future. Because how we view the future influences how we act today. If we view the future as a world of limited resources, people act in a certain way today, okay? In a horrible way today, I should add, okay? The Nazi atrocities were based on a vision of the world as one of limited resources, and so the other races need to be displaced so that Germany can have Lebensraum and all of this, okay? And other horrible actions that one could list are all based on this Malthusian concept. This is the concept that we have to overthrow. This is the concept whereby, showing this vision of the unlimited open future, we, the people in the space community, can not only affect what happens in the world today. We're not about giving the world Teflon. We're about giving the world freedom. Thank you.
Now,
why is it important that humans go into space? It's really a question of the nature of the human future. Are we going to have an open future or a closed future? You know, there's two different visions that people have of the human future right now. There's some people who think we're limited to one planet, we're limited to one set of resources, and over time we're going to become increasingly constrained as human beings push against the limits of the Earth, and we're going to need ever more tight regulation to prevent human beings from damaging the Earth, ever more bureaucratic, ever more total government control of everything in order to put limits on human aspirations, and basically get people not to do anything new because it might damage or overrun the resources that are around, and that we have to watch out that our neighboring countries or races or other people aren't taking more than their share, and so we get a world not only of totalitarian government but of war or fear of war as nations and races threaten each other, each trying to make sure that it maintains its own share of the shrinking pie. That's one vision of the future. That's not my vision of the future. Okay? My vision of the future is that we live in an infinite universe of worlds, okay, with innumerable planets open before us, with innumerable resources available to us, limited only by the reach of human daring and human creativity. Okay? Now that future is also possible. That is a future, okay, in which human minds open up new frontiers, create new resources and new possibilities. In that future, every new person is not a threat to your well-being. Every new person is a friend because they are helping opening up new resources. In that future, human freedom does not need to be suppressed. It is to be promoted. And that is the future we get by opening the space frontier. As you know, Mars is a planet with a surface area equal to all the continents of the Earth put together. And in the century we've been here, we've done little more than scratch the surface. The vast majority of the planet remains unexplored. Nobody knows what is out there. So if you put in a little effort, the opportunity for you to go out into the unknown and make incredible finds is wide open. Just to whet your appetite, here are some of the terrific fame-generating discoveries that you could make. Number 1, live nucleated cells of a type never before seen. Number 2, fossil traces of extinct multicellular organisms. 3, shells of extinct invertebrates. 4, fossilized bones of extinct vertebrates. 5, dinosaur footprints. 6, recently deposited wildlife stool droppings. 7, anomalous industrial chemical deposits in undeveloped locations. 8, tracks left by vehicles of unknown types. 9, surface blast marking patterns not matching existing rockets. 10, rock inscriptions of unknown origin. 11, technological artifacts of unexplainable provenance. 12, ruins of structures clearly designed for non-humans. 13, alien statues. 14, remains of pre-spaceflight humans, for example, medieval knights. 15, the Holy Grail. 16, the one true cross. 17, angel skeletons. 18, books or scrolls made of gold foil filled with writing that only you can decipher. Okay, the above is just a partial list of sensational, life-changing discoveries that you can make. It is by no means meant to be all-inclusive. Some of them require more work to make than others, and some, such as number 18, may be beyond your budget, although those who have tried it have generally found the rate of return to be more than ample to justify the investment. The point, however, is that discoveries have to be made. Becky, that pretty much covers it,
Yeah.
except for the Babylon 5 Mars conviction.
See, we didn't manage to get everything.
That's the 10th Doctor, that's different.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it? Oh, dear me. There's no way that we could cover every single one, and Jessica is my production manager in the Philippines, and she did most of the research from that, and she's interested in space. I was going to have her on the internet over Skype, but unfortunately she's still asleep, so it's 6 o'clock in the morning over there, 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, I want to talk very quickly about the last 4 slides and how significant they are. This one, of course, is from the 2005 War of the Worlds, and basically it is how we can use science fiction to grab people's imaginations here on Earth. And that's what it's all about. Science fiction can pull us into the future, whatever future the science fiction authors want us to go into. So that's the purpose of that slide. And this is an interesting one. This is the book that I got for Christmas 1972, just after Apollo 17, and this is the very book. And the artwork, I'll try and go backwards. Ooh. Page up, yeah. If you notice there's something subtly wrong about that picture, other than the fact that that's a Martian base that NASA planned to have on Mars in 1982. Well, that's wrong, unfortunately. But can you spot the Martian mistake? The sky is blue. Yes, that was before we knew the sky was pink, but it was corrected in later versions of the book, so the artist told me. And then, of course, the biggest, longest-running science fiction novel in history is NASA's budget. And it's currently in its 50-something edition.
It's actually horror, not science fiction.
Okay, science horror, yes, thank you, Doctor. That's quite true. And I'm sure somewhere in those pages it mentions missions to Mars, but I don't think so, unfortunately. And of course, everybody's favorite Martian, Marvin. And he's had his sights set on Earth for over 50 years now.
It obstructs my view of Venus.
That's right. With his, what is it, the Pew... what is it, the number?
Illudium Q-36 explosive space modulator.
Of course, somebody would know. It's none other than one of our authors over here. Thank you very much. And what's the name of his dog, by the way? Canine? Oh, that's quite appropriate. I like the dog better than Marvin. So I was going to wear my Marvin the Martian underwear today, but I decided to save you of that pleasure. So, we have a very distinguished panel put together tonight, and we have our very own doctor here. This is a photograph that none of you have seen before because I took it in 2008 at one of the conferences, and not even the good doctor's seen it. So, the rest of them I pulled off the web, including the picture of me. That's an interesting shot of Jeff, and unfortunately I couldn't match Mary, but that's pretty good. She's holding a book and she looks very authorish. And then David in interesting garb that we all know and love.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
And when the hat starts to fall down over your eyes, I discovered that you can sort of push your head back against the back of the helmet and kind of scrape the hat back over.
That explains the lack of hair on top now, right?
Got a full head of hair for this mission.
And then there's me pointing to something or other. By the way, in case you don't know me, you know all these guys because they've all spoken in front of you before. But I'm David Haslam, and I'm a publisher with HMSI Publishing. And I'm also an author from the author panel last year. But I'm just moderating tonight after waffling on for the last 10 minutes. Tonight we're going to open it up to the floor a little bit later, and I want to get the impressions of the authors on different subjects. And the reason David is first, he's the only one who's seen these 5 questions. So this will allow the other 3 authors to ruminate while David talks about them. But first of all, what is the importance of science fiction? So David, in about 3 minutes or so, could you tell what's your opinion of the importance of science fiction? And pass the mic down.
Well, the importance of science fiction is, of course, that science fiction is not about the future. It's never been about the future. Science fiction is about the present. Not all science fiction is set in the future, but even the ones that are, really the question is, how can we apply scientific principles, scientific knowledge, our ideas about what life is going to be like in future places and other spaces to what is life like here on Earth? I think that